the Constitution Review Committee
Yep.
did some very important work and presented the report to the president yesterday, and they promptly released the full thing.
Yes.
Which is quite good.
Yes, that's remarkable.
They didn't, in the previous work, they sort of put out a white paper that rubbished a lot of the work that was done
because of
the way it was set up.
Yes.
But this one, they set it up differently. So I think
it's a committee as opposed to a committee.
So I think this one is good for all of us to discuss and debate. So I think you are right. It was the way it was set up that changed the dynamic. So I guess this was a good approach, right?
Well, it's also a subject matter of debate because this one basically is to rely on the works of previous commissions and or committees and then re-engage with stakeholders and then produce a report. So
not bad at all.
Yeah,
so that is a good start.
The framing is
a good start. It also recognizes the work done by previous people.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good. So Professor Prempe and your team, well done.
Yeah.
We'll look at some of the highlights. I think the big headline was the 2-5-term, 5-year per term presidency.
Yeah, which respectfully I reject.
No, let's take our time. I'm not there yet. I'm just telling people.
No, I'm telling you what I think.
We have a long time to go into that. So you don't. As Babu said, don't run. Just take it easy. I want the public to know what was said. There are plenty commendations.
Yeah, that's okay, but I'm telling you.
You are in a hurry. Babu said, take it easy. Don't run. He was vetting somebody. Those days he was a minority leader. Charlie Babu to do something. I don't know who it was, but the guy was coming to say, no, don't run. Give him some water, let him relax.
No, my man, you didn't
tension as opposition leader, tension as majority leader, tension them as speaker.
But if the tension was more than
he may even become your president, who knows? Is he still interested in that thing?
Charlie, you never know. Politicians always want to go out.
They always have something.
Yeah, I hear say they line up for something. But you never know. Maybe he like it the way it is.
Back me, he's Charlie. No, but he's enjoying his life. I
saw him dancing some beautiful Northern Ghana dance.
To his own beat.
Yeah. The Ghanaian Times says this morning, constitutional review. No third term for presidents. Committee proposes 2 5-year terms. The president is seen here holding a summary of the main recommendations. Also on the front page this morning, AG cites Chairman Wontumi Kofi Palu for fraud. So these are allegations. And then also NTC Night Circulation Officer retires after 21 years of dedicated service.
The Chronicle has cost of living is good under Mahama. Professor Smart Sapon survey report. Also, minority vows to resist NDC's third-term agenda. This is in quote. And then the Chronicle is on Christmas break. And as I said, they say they are breaking from today and they will return on 5th January.
Yes.
It's a serious matter.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, where are you going?
Let me take you to the Daybreak newspaper. Minority slums government over Galamsey gold environmental damage. So the minority and the majority leadership, they went to see the president yesterday at the Flagstaff House or the Jubilee House for a meeting, and that's what they are reporting. Also on the front page this morning, constitutional reforms in Ghana's interest. That's the president, John Dramani Mahama, speaking there.
All right, let's take you to the insight. Don't bring back Baumia. Political scientist warns MPP. Also, River Park Estate Buhaha, Ghana-Nigeria trade rift looms amid legal dispute. That's according to an analyst. In other headlines, no MP should be appointed Minister of State. This is the highlights they pick from the CRC report. And then neocolonialism must be confronted to build multipolar world, says Russian lawmaker. Story is embedded on pages 6 and 7.
Let me take you to the Economic Times. Ghana financial markets begin festive lull in activity, but underlying performance remains strong. This is a story, according to a story by Toma Imi here. Also, BOG, Dr. Esiama applauded for the landmark NIBF framework amid sneer attempts to mark the vast opportunities. Why are they separating the BOG from Dr. Esiama?
I don't know. Maybe the committee decided, I don't know. Let's go to the New Republic. Tell me what's there.
Okay, so the New Republic says this morning, Sunyai gets new signal nerve center as Mohammed's quiet security overhaul gains momentum. Also on the front page this morning, the story about Mr. Palu on the front page, and then also Wontumi's 24 million Ghana cedi farm fraud bust and related.
Let me give you the Daily Graphic. Extend presidential terms to 5 years. Constitution Review Committee proposes calls for fixed campaign period. There's a photograph of the president
That I agree
in
with.
a handshake with the chair of the committee. Xmas mad rush chokes Accra, Kumasi, 4 collapse in congestion.
Oh,
I told you that when I
Which way is
I
that
went
one?
to town, no get space. AG,
Onagbe.
yes, ask Buko Bankuzi. So the congestion has led to 4 people collapsing.
Oh.
Also, AG to prosecute Wontumi and Akpalu for fraud. Those are the stories on the graphic front page.
And finally, let me take you to the overseer for this morning. Tour is back. It refines 28,000 barrels of oil a day. So this is to answer your question.
Is it refining or to refine?
No, they say refines, which is to say that, if you go into the story,
Is
it
it-
tells you
is it-
whether...
is it confused?
because
Is it refining or to refine?
Yeah,
or-
no, they didn't say to, they say refine. So I assume that, but sometimes they use it in a way that creates the impression that something has happened already.
So what is the story saying?
Okay, I'll tell you about it later. Also, the story about the Constitutional Review Committee and related matters.
CitiNewsroom.com, a black war to visit Latvia over the murder of the Ghanaian student. You know that story that an 18-year-old Ghanaian student, Nana Eje Ehia. So Okujeto is going to Latvia to follow up on that. Don't promote crypto firms without license. SEC wants celebrities and influencers. Meanwhile, the transport minister says lack of regulation fueled motorcycle accidents. We interviewed him yesterday on a number of issues in the transport sector. He also says there's a new sea transport service to link Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria.
You should give me the contract.
No, they said Burkinabe has come, but you didn't come early. So it will sit on the sea boat and move from here to. Meanwhile, Ghana is also going to install new traffic lights after Okada legislation. In other stories, Tema MCE says encroachment on Tema sewage site a crime against the city. Ebi Bright.
Okay.
Very unhappy with this matter. Meanwhile, Navrongo police intensifies security and pick up 8 suspects in the soup. If you go to the same website, citinewsroom.com, CRC proposes 10-year non-renewable term for EC boss and deputies. Channel One News is focused on Ebi Bright threatening legal action over the encroachment of Tema sewage. A lot of stories on the transport minister who is calling for re-engineering of roads to ease traffic. And then the website summarizes key recommendations in the CRC report. I'll probably use that one in the news review proper. Meanwhile, Mahama pledges bipartisan implementation of the Constitutional Review report. That's a good sign. Now, if you go to my journal online, Atlantic Lithium submits revised mining lease to Parliament. And also, BOG SEC move to regulate crypto as Parliament passes virtual assets law. And then Minority says partisan governance is destroying livelihoods. All right, so where do we start from this morning?
Okay, I want to tell you about the version of the story in the Ghanaian Times about the Constitutional Review Committee's work. If you go to page 11 of the newspaper, Julius Yaupetiti writes that the Constitutional Review Committee has dismissed any possibility of a third presidential term in Ghana's democratic architecture. Now, according to the committee, provisions of Article 662 of the 1992 Constitution are clear and without any ambiguity, hence needed no tweaking when the country goes to the polls for a referendum to amend the Constitution. The article states that a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Presenting the summary of the report to the president of the presidency in Accra yesterday, chairman of the committee, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, said Ghanaians are not even interested in a third term for the president. There's a quote here that says, Mr. President, we wouldn't find a plate for a third term. We looked and looked and looked, but still couldn't find. He said to loud laughs from the president, government officials and members of the committee assembled for the presentation. He goes on to say there wasn't much of a demand for it. The only thing was for us to clarify ambiguity in 662, but we didn't want to go there because we didn't think that it raises any issues of ambiguity. And you know that provision deals with whether concurrence, what do you call it, if it is concurrent terms, if that's the right phrase to use. So there are no intervening, what do you call it, departures from the office, whether that should mean that when you return you serve 2 concurrent terms, or that you should be confined to just 2 terms, regardless of whether they were.
So they said they didn't see. Now let me give you some of the key highlights of recommendations. So if you take, for example, ChannelOneNews.com, and then also a few other websites. For example, Finex Insights gives the 10 top recommendations: extend presidential and parliamentary term to 5 years. That's number one.
No, I don't think they said parliamentary should be 5 years.
No, they said that the parliamentary should be concurrent to the presidential. So if the president is 5, the parliamentary also be 5.
They said 4 years.
No. What I saw was 5.
Really?
Anyway, that is 127 pages. We have a long time to go into it. Make public lands a national trust was a recommendation. Separate parliament from cabinet, another recommendation. Strengthen independent institutions. Cap the number of ministers. Abolish the death penalty. Elect local leaders directly. Empower citizens to amend the constitution. Create an independent anti-corruption commission. And allow dual citizens in parliament, among others.
Okay, so that is also another thorny matter. We already have some of our citizens out of the country who we are seeking to bring back into the country, yeah? And we are having all kinds of troubles trying to get our own citizens back into the country. These are not dual nationals, right? At least for now. What will happen if these are, people with two different nationalities and we want to get them?
Well, there's going to be a roadmap to discuss this. So today we are just giving what the story said. Let's give you other headlines this morning.
Okay, so the minority Islamic government, I take you to the Daybreak newspaper, which has that story quickly. The minority caucus in parliament, according to page 3 of the newspaper, has accused the state of legitimizing illegal gold mining and worsening environmental destruction, warning that Ghana risks becoming a conduit for illegally mined gold. Now, in a statement issued on December 22 after meeting with President John Dramani Mahama at the Jubilee House, the minority said weaknesses in the operations of the gold board threatened to make the state, quote and unquote, a formal purchaser of illegally mined gold from Galamsey operations, thereby sanctioning environmental destruction.
Alrighty, now I wanted to take you to the transport minister this morning. He's been on ChannelOne television speaking about a number of issues. He said, for example, that government will install new traffic lights after Okada legalization. He was answering questions from me on the point of view yesterday. He says the absence of dedicated traffic signs and signals for motor riders has long been a challenge, and that when motorcycle operations were legalized, government will introduce new road safety measures, including traffic lights and upgraded traffic lights designed to improve safety of road users. He also says that there's a new sea transport service to link Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. He announced that an investor has secured 2 large vessels to begin marine transport operations along the West African coast. He also says that a port of some kind or a landing site is being developed at Asikuma to convey goods from the Tema rail line from Asikuma to Buipe.
Okay.
To promote inland water transport.
Okay.
And then he says the new sea transport is expected to reduce congestion on the Volta corridor and other busy routes linking Ghana to neighboring countries. So he says instead of all the traffic you face on the Dowenya route, some of the cargo will be put on the sea from Accra, and it will be sent to Lagos and other places. Okay. There was a long-range interview. We'll give you some highlights later in the morning.
I hope they have done the commercial viability of the same.
I'm sure
that work.
We hope so too.
And then also the inland movement. Have they done something about the tree stumps in the Volta Lake?
We didn't go into those details, but what he did say was that the private investor had found a site at Asikuma to set up, I don't know what they call it, inland whatever, so that the vessel, we call it the barge, can basically dock and convey goods from the rail onto the Volta Lake.
Okay, so let me take you to the story about Tor, so we have some clarity. The story is in the Overseer newspaper. You find that on page 3, and it says, after more than 6 years of lying idle, Ghana's premier refinery, Tema Oil Refinery Limited, has resumed crude oil processing following the completion of major rehabilitation works a few weeks ago. But that's for your attention. So they have started. They are doing proper refining of oil. Now the refinery started crude oil refining at the crude distillation units, which is the CDU, a few days ago, and insiders indicate that TOR is currently processing about 28,000 barrels of crude oil per day. It goes on to say that the development comes as good news to Ghanaian, the Ghanaian petroleum consumer and industry stakeholders who had grown increasingly concerned about the refinery's deteriorating state over the years. Now, this paper understands that the CDU now back in production mode. Management plans to turn its attention to commissioning a new furnace in order to ramp up output to about 45,000 barrels.
So TOR is working. Now let me take you to Xmas Mad Rush Chooks Accra Kumasi. Daily Graphic story by Gilbert Mauli Agbe and Jocelyn Kafu Inyaji. At least 4 people collapsed while the Ghana National Fire Service sprayed fresh water on a sea of people in the Central Business District of Accra as shoppers made last-minute dash for Christmas purchases yesterday. At Okanshi, shoppers largely moved toe to toe. The slow motion defied the hectic human traffic that has characterized this year's Christmas shopping experience. Amid the congestion, the fire service deployed fire engines to spray water on the teeming crowd to cool temperatures. The congestion built up over several hours, with 4 people collapsing in the process, a situation that disrupted trading activities across the CMB, Okanshi and Mokola areas of pedestrian and vehicular movement slowed significantly. Vehicles appeared locked up and stranded in the areas for long periods, while shoppers struggled to navigate through the narrow market paths. The dense human traffic affected access to shops and stores, forcing some traders to temporarily abandon their spaces to avoid accidents. Others struggled to protect their goods as movement became increasingly restricted under the intense heat. From Kumasi, thousands of shoppers across Ashanti region and beyond besieged the Kumasi metropolis to buy essential items to celebrate Christmas and New Year festivities. I even wonder what people are buying. Shoppers,
they are buying all kinds of things.
Shoppers, you know, when we were young, they used to sew political suits for us up and down. Shoppers, do we still do that?
Oh, if you
Christmas
go to
dress.
the towns and villages, people still do that.
Shoppers, some from northern parts of the country, stormed Kumasi to purchase food items and other personal effects for the occasion. Since October, the entire Central Business District of the metropolis has been taken over by shoppers. Now, according to the story, traders in Accra raised concern over the lack of effective crowd control systems despite the proximity of security agencies within the market enclave. A yam seller at CMB, who has to remain anonymous, said the situation persisted for over an hour without police intervention. Meanwhile, the police station was just here. No, the traders called for urgent action and appealed for better coordination among state agencies during the festive period. Charlie Sky, this is serious. And then there was also mixed price experiences. While some people were buying at good prices, others too were getting high cutthroat prices for them, for their goods.
Let me take you now to...
You have just a minute, so you better
okay, quickly. The story in the New Republic that talks about Sunyani getting some national security infrastructure. So the story says that in a low-key but loaded move to rewire Ghana's creaky security grid, President John Dramani Mahama's administration unveiled a gleaming command center for the National Signals Bureau in Sunyani yesterday, capping off a trio of regional hubs that insiders say are priming the state for a digital defense surge amid rising threat from cyber shadows.
Charlie, there's a story here that's very troubling.
Skirmishes.
The High Street Journal.
Okay, almost there.
Ghana Statistical Service data reveals districts where over 60% of men drink excessively. New district level data released by GSS has uncovered alarming pockets of excessive alcohol consumption among men, with some districts recording prevalence rates of more than 60% despite lower regional averages. The findings show that parts of the northeast and savannah regions are among the worst affected, with majority of men engaging in excessive alcohol intake, raising serious public health and socio-economic concerns. This is bad, wow. And the men are aged between 15 and 59.
Not East, no. Are you sure?
It mentions specific district, but you can get into the story.
Yeah, because those places are, you know.
Yeah, it's on way.
It's on way.